My wife wanted an open marriage, so I agreed, but only slept with her sister. Now my wife wants a divorce. Before we dive in, just a small favor. If you like stories filled with drama, twists, and real emotion, hit that subscribe button and support the channel. That way, you'll never miss out on content that keeps you hooked. I never thought I'd be sharing something like this online, but I'm completely lost on what to do next. My marriage is falling apart. My sister-in-law keeps texting me, and my entire family thinks I've lost my mind. Let me start from the beginning. My wife, Olivia, and I have been married for 6 years. We met in college, had what I thought was a perfect relationship, and built a life together that I was proud of. I work as a software developer with a stable job, and she's a marketing executive at a large firm. We bought a house in the suburbs 3 years ago, and until recently, I thought we were happy. About 4 months ago, Olivia sat me down for what she called an important conversation about our future. I assumed she wanted to talk about starting a family or maybe a career change. Instead, she told me she wanted to open our marriage. She explained that she'd been reading about ethical non-monogamy and polyamory, and she felt like we were limiting ourselves by staying exclusive. According to her, we were still young, both 32, and should explore our options before we settled into the next phase of our lives. I was completely blindsided. I never once considered being with anyone else since we got together. When I told her this, she said I was being closed-minded and that I should at least think about it. For the next 2 weeks, Olivia sent me articles about open marriages and success stories of couples who had strengthened their bond by sleeping with other people. She even suggested we attend a workshop about ethical non-monogamy. Eventually, I asked her directly if there was someone specific she wanted to sleep with. She hesitated before admitting there was a co-worker she'd developed feelings for. They hadn't done anything physical yet, she assured me. She'd been thinking about him a lot. I was crushed. All I could think was that my wife was asking my permission to cheat. But she insisted this wasn't cheating. It was expanding our relationship and would make us stronger in the long run. After days of arguments and tears, I finally agreed to her open marriage proposal, but with conditions. We'd be completely honest about who we were seeing, we'd always practice safe sex, and our marriage would remain the priority. She enthusiastically agreed to everything. Within a week, Olivia was going on dates with her coworker Derek. She'd come home late, sometimes not until the next morning, and tell me all about their connection. While I pretended to be supportive each time she left to see him, I felt like someone was ripping my heart out of my chest. I didn't immediately look for someone else to date. I spent most of my time working late and hitting the gym, just trying to keep my mind occupied. Olivia started suggesting I should get out there, too, and even tried to set me up with some of her single friends. It felt like she wanted me to find someone else to ease her guilt. Then came her sister's visit. Sophia is 2 years younger than Olivia and had just gone through a bad breakup. She needed a place to stay for a couple of weeks while looking for a new apartment. Since Olivia was spending most of her time with Derek anyway, I told her it was fine for Sophia to use her guest room. Sophia and I had always gotten along, but we were never particularly close. That changed during her stay. While Olivia was out with Derek, Sophia and I would cook dinner together, watch movies, and talk for hours. She was easy to be around, and for the first time in months, I didn't feel so alone. One night, after we'd had a few glasses of wine, Sophia asked me how I was really doing with the open marriage situation. No one had actually asked me that before. I broke down and told her everything. How blindsided I felt. How I suspected Olivia had been emotionally cheating before proposing the open marriage. How I couldn't bear the thought of being with anyone else. Sophia was furious on my behalf. She called her sister selfish and manipulative. And she said something that changed. If she wants an open marriage so badly, maybe you should take advantage of it too. I laughed it off. But the next morning, things felt different between us. There was tension in the air, the kind that comes from knowing something is possible but shouldn't be acted upon. A few days later, Olivia texted, saying she'd be spending the weekend at Derek's place. That night, Sophia and I ordered takeout and opened another bottle of wine. One thing led to another, and well, you can guess the rest. The next morning, I was consumed with guilt. I'd slept with my wife's sister, but also, strangely, I didn't regret it. Being with Sophia felt right in a way I couldn't explain. She understood me in ways Olivia hadn't in years. Sophia confessed she'd had feelings for me for a long time, but had buried them out of respect for her sister. Now, with the open marriage situation, she didn't feel as guilty about acting on those feelings. For the next 2 weeks, while Olivia was either working or with Derek, Sophia and I continued our affair. It was the first time I'd felt genuinely happy since this whole open marriage nightmare began. Then came the day Olivia wanted to check in about our open marriage arrangement. She asked if I'd been seeing anyone, and I decided to be honest. After all, that was our agreement. Complete transparency. Actually, yes. I told her I've been sleeping sleeping with Sophia. The look on Olivia's face is something I'll never forget. Shock, betrayal, rage all flashing across her features. In seconds, she started screaming that this wasn't what she meant by an open marriage, that there were unspoken rules about who was off limits. I reminded her that we hadn't established any such rules. She'd wanted freedom, and she'd gotten it. I was simply doing the same. She called me disgusting and manipulative. She accused me of using the open marriage as an excuse to fulfill some sick fantasy about her sister. And she called Sophia, put her on speakerphone, and demanded to know if what I'd said was true. Sophia confirmed everything. She also told Olivia that if she hadn't been so selfish and caught up in her affair with Derek, maybe she would have noticed what was happening under her own roof. Olivia stormed out and went to stay with Derek. The next day, I received divorce papers via email. Her message simply said, "I hope you and my sister are happy together. You destroyed this family." But here's where things get even more complicated. After Olivia left, Sophia confessed that her feelings for me were serious. She said she'd been in love with me for years, and suggested that maybe once the divorce was finalized, we could try building a life together. Part of me thinks this is insane. Another part can't deny the connection we have. Meanwhile, Olivia has been telling everyone who will listen that I seduced her vulnerable sister as revenge for the open marriage. Her parents have called me, alternating between threatening legal action and begging me to fix things with their daughter. My own parents think I've lost my mind. Now Sophia's temporary stay has turned into something more permanent. She's talking about moving and officially once her lease at her new apartment ends next month. Olivia is demanding I sell our house and split the proceeds as part of the divorce. And I'm just trying to figure out if what I'm feeling for Sophia is real or if this whole situation is some kind of emotional rebound. Update 1. It's been 3 weeks since my last post, and things have spiraled even further out of control. First, Olivia showed up at our house unannounced while both Sophia and I were home. She said she needed to pick up some belongings, but it quickly became clear she was there to confront us. She looked terrible, like she hadn't slept in days. The moment she saw Sophia in the kitchen wearing one of my t-shirts, she completely lost it. She started throwing things, plates, glasses, whatever she could grab. She screamed that we were sick and that we'd planned this from the beginning to hurt her. Sophia tried to calm her down, which only made things worse. Olivia lunged at her sister, and I had to physically separate them. It was horrific seeing the two of them like that, screaming horrible things at each other that can never be taken back. When I finally got Olivia to leave, she told me that Derek had broken things off with her. Apparently, he wasn't looking for anything serious and had started seeing someone else. The irony wasn't lost on any of us. After she left, Sophia broke down. She said she never wanted to hurt her sister, but she also couldn't deny her feelings for me. She was torn between family loyalty and what we developed together. The next day, Olivia's parents showed up. They'd driven 4 hours to talk some sense into us. Her father threatened to disown Sophia if she continued seeing me. Her mother alternated between crying and tried to convince me that Olivia had made a mistake with the open marriage, but still loved me. The pressure is immense. Sophia is staying with a friend now to give us both space to think. She texts constantly, saying she misses me, but she's also being pulled in different directions by her family. Meanwhile, Olivia called yesterday, suggesting we try marriage counseling. She admitted the open marriage was a mistake and that she'd only proposed it because she was scared of settling down. She said losing me made her realize what she truly wanted. I don't know what to think anymore. Part of me still loves Olivia. We built a life together over 6 years, but I can't forget how easily she was willing to throw that away for Derek. And then there's Sophia, who makes me feel understood and valued in ways I hadn't realized I was missing. If I go back to Olivia, I lose Sophia forever and potentially sign up for more heartbreak down the road. If I choose Sophia, I destroy a family and potentially build a relationship on a foundation of betrayal and resentment. Update 2. It's been almost 2 months since everything fell apart, and I've finally made a decision. After weeks of agonizing, talking to friends, and even seeing a therapist on my own, I realized something important. I need to be alone right now. Both Olivia and Sophia have been pushing me to choose, but I've come to understand that neither relationship is healthy at this point. Olivia only wanted me back after her relationship with Derek failed, and my connection with Sophia, while intense, developed under extremely emotional circumstances. I told Sophia first. She didn't take it well. Initially, she accused me of leading her on and using her as a rebound. But after a long conversation, she admitted that maybe we both got caught up in the drama and intensity of the situation. She's decided to move to another state for a fresh start, which is probably for the best. Telling Olivia was harder. She seemed genuinely remorseful about the open marriage disaster and had been making real efforts to reconnect. I told her I wanted to proceed with the divorce. She broke down completely. She begged for another chance, promising she'd never even look at another man again. It was painful, but I held firm. I explained that trust, once broken in such a fundamental way, can't simply be repaired with promises. I told her I deserved someone who wouldn't need to explore options before deciding I was enough. And she deserved someone who didn't harbor resentment toward her. The house is being sold, and we're dividing assets equally. Despite her lawyer's suggestions that she fight for more, I think she feels too guilty to push that issue. As for Olivia and Sophia's relationship, that's still very much broken. Their parents are trying to mediate, but some wounds cut too deep for easy healing. I hope someday they can repair their sisterhood, but that's no longer my responsibility to manage. I'm moving to a new city next month to start over. I've accepted a job offer that I'm excited about, and I'm looking forward to building a life that isn't defined by this chaos. The strangest part of all this is that despite the pain and drama, I don't regret what happened. This experience taught me that I'm stronger than I realized, and that I deserve more than being someone's backup plan or safety net. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that an open marriage isn't a solution to relationship problems. It's a magnifying glass that exposes what's already broken. 6 months have passed since I moved to Seattle and started my new life. I've been meaning to post this final update for a while, but I wanted to wait until I had some perspective. The divorce was finalized 3 months ago. In the end, it was surprisingly civil. Olivia and I managed to divide everything fairly without a drawn-out legal battle. We even had coffee afterward and wished each other well. It was bittersweet, but confirmed I'd made the right choice. I've had no contact with Sophia since she moved to Colorado. Last I heard through mutual friends, she's dating someone new and seems happy. Olivia told me during our final meeting that she and Sophia had spoken briefly at their cousin's wedding. It wasn't exactly a reconciliation, but it was a start. As for Olivia, she's in therapy, working through her issues with commitment and impulsiveness. She admitted during our last conversation that she'd been struggling with these patterns long before proposing the open marriage. I genuinely hope she finds what she's looking for. Derek ironically reached out to me via LinkedIn of all places. He apologized for his role in everything, claiming he didn't know the full story of what Olivia had told me versus what she told him. According to him, she described our marriage as essentially over and the open relationship as a transition to separation. I don't know if that's true, but it doesn't really matter now. As for me, I'm doing better than I expected. My new job is challenging in the best ways, and I've made friends who know nothing about my complicated past. I've dated casually, but nothing serious yet. I'm taking my time and being intentional about what I want. The biggest change has been internal. I've stopped seeing myself as a victim of circumstances and started recognizing my own agency. Yes, Olivia's proposal blindsided me, but I agreed to it rather than addressing the real issues. Yes, the situation with Sophia was complicated, but I made choices that contributed to the mess. Sometimes I still wonder what would have happened if I just said no to the open marriage from the start. Would Olivia have cheated anyway? Would we have confronted our issues directly? Would we still be together? There's no way to know. What I do know is that I'm more at peace now than I've been in years. I'm building a life on my own terms, learning from past mistakes, and staying open to possibilities without rushing into anything. If there's a lesson in all this, maybe it's that sometimes the hardest choice, walking away from both the familiar comfort of a long-term relationship and the exciting intensity of a new connection, can be the only one that leads to genuine growth for anyone going through something similar. Trust yourself enough to make the difficult decisions. The path forward isn't always with someone else. Sometimes it's just you figuring things out on your own. Update 4.5 years has passed since my life was upended, and I promised myself this would be my final update. Last month, I ran into Sophia at an industry conference in Chicago. I've been sent to represent my company, never expecting to see a familiar face. We quite literally bumped into each other in the hotel lobby. The shock of seeing her after all this time was overwhelming. She looked different, more confident, with shorter hair and a professional demeanor that contrasted sharply with my memories of her. After the initial awkwardness, we agreed to have dinner to catch up. She told me she'd moved to Chicago 8 months ago for a promotion and had been thriving in her new role. She dated a few people, but nothing serious had stuck. I told her about my life in Seattle, my new friends, and how I'd recently been promoted as well. We carefully avoided discussing Olivia until we were a couple of glasses of wine in. According to Sophia, she and Olivia had slowly been rebuilding their relationship. They weren't as close as before. They were speaking regularly and had even spent a weekend together. A few months back, Olivia was seeing someone new, a professor at the local university, and seemed genuinely happy. Sophia apologized for how everything had unfolded between us. She admitted that her feelings for me had been real, but also acknowledged that the circumstances had intensified everything to an unhealthy degree. She said she'd done a lot of therapy to understand her own patterns and why she'd been willing to cross such a significant boundary with her sister's husband. I apologized, too, for my role in everything, for not being stronger when both sisters needed me to be there. By the end of dinner, something unexpected had happened. The chemistry between us was still there, but it was different now, more mature, less desperate, and without the weight of betrayal hanging over it. We ended up spending the rest of the conference week together, meeting between sessions and staying up late talking. On the final night, she asked the question we'd both been circling. What if we tried again the right way? This time I was hesitant. The history between us is complicated, to say the least, but we're different people now, and the foundation of our connection, the understanding and comfort we find in each other remains. We decided to take things extremely slowly. She'll visit Seattle next month, and I'll go to Chicago the month after that. We're being completely transparent with Olivia. Sophia called her the day after we decided to explore this again. According to Sophia, Olivia was quiet for a long time before saying she couldn't control either of our lives, and that enough time had passed for her to want us both to be happy. Even if it's a complicated situation, I don't know if this will work out. The odds are probably against us, given our history. But for the first time in a long time, I'm excited about the possibility of building something real with someone who sees me clearly and chooses me specifically not out of convenience or as a reaction to something else, but because she genuinely wants to be with me. Life takes strange turns. Sometimes the wrong person at the wrong time can become the right person at the right time. I don't know if that's the case here, but I'm willing to find out. Whatever happens, I'm grateful for the journey that brought me here. As painful as it often was, without the open marriage disaster, the messy entanglement with Sophia, the divorce, and the time alone, I wouldn't be the person I am today. Someone who knows his worth, respects his boundaries, and is brave enough to try again despite past heartbreak. Sometimes the longest way around turns out to be the shortest way home.